Okay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Tea Time at 10. I am joined by my coworker, Larissa. Look at her beautiful cup of tea.
Mm-hmm. Good morning.
Love it. So, as you guys may have heard, if you guys tuned in on Monday, we talked about, what did we talk about?
I didn't know there would be a test. What did we talk about on Monday? Routines? Routines.
That's right. We talked about routines. We can start the recording over now.
There needs to be more caffeine in my tea.
I was going to say something completely different.
Uh-oh. Oh.
No, but we did talk about routines. But to, kind of tie in with the grading circle kindness, we're going to be talking about empathy versus sympathy. This is a really important topic. It's embedded in our classroom routines. It's something our teachers are forever working with children on, especially because it's a kindergarten readiness skill set. It's a huge social emotional aspect, and it's crucial that they start to develop an understanding of empathy, as well as sympathy in their peers, and not just within their fellow classmates, but with adults, with their teachers. So this is a really important topic, and it's one that as adults, it's important for us to continue to learn about and remind ourselves of as well, because especially with COVID and everything that's going on, it's important to, feel what other people are feeling and to try and identify what emotions they might be feeling within yourselves. And empathy is often mistaken for sympathy, but they're two very different things. So Larissa and I are going to be posting a small clip that we encourage all of you guys to watch. You can watch it with your children. It's Brene Brown's little TED Talk on empathy versus sympathy, and it's animated. It's a cartoon. I have watched it in my college classes. I have watched it as an educator. I have shown family members this video because it's just short. It's 2 minutes, 54 seconds, but it really is so excellent at summarizing the differences between the two. So just to break it down, and Brene Brown breaks this down in her video, is empathy fuels the connection. It fuels the connection from one person to the other, whereas sympathy drives disconnection. And so you might be wondering, well, if I sympathize with somebody, that means I'm caring about it. Well, that's true. However, there's a difference. So there's 4 qualities of empathy, and that's perspective taking. So you're taking on the person's perspective. You're essentially putting yourself in their shoes, right? You're staying out of judgment. So you're not judging their situation. You're not judging you're not judging them for what they're feeling. You're allowing them to feel sad. You're not encouraging them to feel better because they may not want to feel better right now. They may want to walk through those feelings of sadness. You're recognizing the emotions of other people, and 4th, you're also communicating that you recognize those emotions. So you're being able to look at them, you recognize them, and then you're also able to communicate that you recognize them, if that makes sense. So essentially what empathy is feeling with other people. And it's a choice. You sometimes have to be conscious of it. Others, it comes very naturally. It's identifying those feelings within yourself, like I was saying, and going, man, that must be really hard. But I don't know what to say right now, but just know that I'm here with you, and you're not alone, and you were really brave for, confiding this into me, and I'm grateful that you trusted me with this. That's empathy. And so sympathy is going, well, yeah, that's too bad, but hey, look, it's the sun's out. It's a nice warm day. It's a beautiful day. Or you don't need to be sad. So that's the difference. There is your sympathy is almost hearing something, hearing what's going on with the person, and then kind of disregarding it as well. Look at the bright side. But empathy is being in that moment with that person and living through those feelings that they're living through. And that can really be very impactful for children. And that will help foster the parent-child relationship as well. And that will bond you guys together, and you guys will have this emotional connection that ties you together, and you will soon be able to identify feelings and emotions in your child much more easily when you start to get onto their level and you start to put yourself in their shoes. Because as adults, we know it's what seems so big to them is so small to us. But we're adults, so we have 101 things going on in our brains. You know, we're rushing. We need to, you know, wake up, get our coffee. Oh, we need to grab the toast. We need to make breakfast. We need to shower. We need to do our morning routine. They need to get up. They need to brush their teeth. They need to make their bed. And then the list goes on and on and on. And it's easy for us to lash out or be frustrated. Can you just put your shoes on? It's time to go. I'm in a hurry and I'm going to be late for work. And maybe it's the third time this week that you've been late to work, and you walk in 10 minutes late to that meeting and your boss is looking at you and pulls you aside and says, what's going on? This isn't acceptable. This is the third time you've been late this week. Something's got to change. And it's starting to have an effect on not just your personal life, but as well as your professional life. So it's easy for us as adults to forget that our children don't understand those things. They don't know. They're so fragile, and it takes some practice. But if we can, and as teachers, we're always practicing this, but you've got to remove that lens and put yourself in the child's shoes and say, okay, the child is really frustrated. Perhaps they're throwing a tantrum. I'm going to empathize with them. I'm going to get down on their level. I'm going to make myself, I'm not going to tower over them. I'm going to get on my knees and I'm going to make eye contact. I'm going to look them in the face and say, you're really upset right now. Tell me what you're feeling. Oh, you're mad. Oh, okay, you're mad. I see. You were really upset. I see that Thomas now has the toy that you were playing with, and you're upset about that. That's okay to be upset. Let's talk about it. So with that being said, you're getting down on their level. You're helping them identify the emotions that they could be feeling, as well as you're allowing them to feel them. You're not punishing them for being angry. You're not telling them that they need to, calm down. It's going to be fine. We'll get you another toy, because that's not what we want to teach. We want to let them process what they're feeling with so that they the tools that they can use to with you, but with themselves. They need to start identifying what's going on with themselves. And then what's really wonderful is that they're able to their peers. Important, because that's a communication skill. So, and all of these things kind of tie together, and it's a really crucial kindergarten readiness skill, right? So it's important for social emotional development, but showing empathy can be hard, especially if you're frustrated, and if you're frustrated because you're running late. It can be hard to and take that time to, you know, if you may not have the time, but it's important to try and make that time for your child, right? So like going back, your child's having trouble going out the door for school. This morning you're going to be late. It's the third time this week, and you're frustrated and you yell for your child to hurry up. Your reaction is understandable. Neither of one of you can afford to be constantly late, especially if, you know, the school's telling you need to get your child here on time because breakfast is at 8:30 and we don't want them to be late for their breakfast. You know, that's a very important part of their day. And you're reacting with frustration puts the focus. So your frustration is putting that focus on how you are feeling, right? Versus what your child's feeling. And it's when we take those seconds to pause and trying to realize what your child might be feeling, because perhaps they're struggling to get ready. Did they not sleep well that night? Is that why they're moving a little bit slow? Was it too hot? It's summertime. Maybe it's really hot in their room and they can't get comfortable and they're constantly waking up because they just are sweating and nothing feels right. Or maybe they were having some nightmares. I don't know, but that would be a good time to try to figure it out. And that would be right there. You would find the solution and you can help establish that change so that it can eliminate this frustration. And showing empathy can change the whole dynamic. It lets you acknowledge not only what you're seeing in your child, but what they're feeling. And it helps you to stop and think and process what you might not be visually seeing, because we're visual learners as humans, but that's where we have to go, wow, there's maybe something going on that I can't see, but maybe it's going on in here. And so just to kind of this up, empathy is a form of connection. It shows your kids and teaches them to identify what it is they might be experiencing. Just by, I want you to, and I see that you're having a difficult time. You're giving them themselves, identify what they're feeling. That we in the classrooms strive to teach your child. And if you've ever, you know, looked in our classrooms, we have, some classrooms have little corners, like cool down corners. Some classrooms have, I've seen this on Pinterest, but lotions, like there's a calming lotion. There's a lotion for when you're feeling grouchy. There's also, in our Head Start classrooms, we have those emotion little cards, or sometimes we have mirrors with the emotion picture attached to the back of it, so that you can pick up that mirror and look at yourself and make that face, and that child can be like, show the teacher, this is how I'm feeling, like I am frustrated, but it gives them that vocabulary to use to express you as the adult self. And these are kindergarten readiness skills, because as they get older, as they start to progress within, you know, their education, it's going to be expected that they work together as a team. It's going to be expected that they work efficiently and effectively with others, and that their communication is there. And as you know, as adults, communication is key no matter what line of work you're in. So anyways, that's all that I have to share about empathy versus sympathy. It's a big subject, and so if you guys want to ask questions, definitely do that. Comment below, watch the video. I often watch it multiple times just to make sure I have a good understanding. A lot of the information that I got today was from watching Brene Brown, but I've also gathered an article which we're going to post as well so that you guys can click if you guys want to read this article more in depth. It's specifically for adults with kindergartners, preschool readiness, or kindergarten readiness, excuse me. But it's www.understood.org. So to read the article. But yeah, this has been a really fun topic. Please leave them below.
Uh-oh. We have unstable internet. Are you there?
Did you get it?
Oh, we haven't signed off yet. I was just going to add one thing before we close, and that is Paige had mentioned the cards that we have in our classrooms that help children define emotions. That is step one. Those cards come from a curriculum that we use called Second Step, and it is a social emotional curriculum. And I would also want to remind any adults that are watching this that want to work on identifying their own emotions, that's also your first step. Before you are able to jump in with empathy, you first need to be able to identify, oops, I'm feeling frustrated, and then you can make the switch over to choosing to respond with empathy. So be gentle on yourselves, give yourselves some time to learn the skill. It is a habit that you work at and you grow in. And yes, thank you, Paige, for this topic. It was a great one, and we'll make sure to put those extra resources in the comment section.
Wonderful. Thank you guys for tuning in with us today, and we look forward to hearing your guys' feedback. And like Larissa said, take it easy on yourselves, because it's a learned practice. And I think I always say this, you can never stop learning. You can always further yourself, better yourself. And I, as an educator, can attest to that. You're always learning, and it's something that you're always practicing. And just know that, it can be difficult at first, but with practice, it gets easier.
Okay. Well, thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Cheers.
See you next time.